engagements with the delegates. So I'm sure he's here to.
I'm sure he'll be very surprised to see that the most authoritative newspaper has carried on its front page this recommendation, which means that COP Alex Mensah's bid to be an MP is in jeopardy.
Yes, because the effects of that report would be, if indeed the recommendations are so, that the COP would not be able to run for parliament. This has been very well established by the law.
North.
Not even just Asin North, there's clear precedence on this. And so it's not. So that's why I'm surprised that he's not even fighting the truth or otherwise of the report. The leaked as it may be, I don't know whether it is leaked or is the authentic report or not. I don't know. I cannot tell. But I thought he would have probably been more interested in setting his lawyers to work to consider what they are watching in this report, leaked as it may be, so that they will begin to prepare some defenses and see how they will take the report on and all of that.
Well, Six was big. Well, in that regard, I think we've even jumped a few steps ahead because according to COP Alex Mensah, he says that he's always says that he's going to be vindicated. He had alleged that the tape was doctored. So even on the outset, he says that disregard what is in that tape. Let's take another trip down memory lane. Let's listen to him speaking here with my colleague Kemini.
Committee, you said the tape has been edited. And the chairman of the committee came out to say that, yes, the tape has been edited.
Well,
it's good that you said allegedly.
It seems to me you're in a hurry to be vindicated.
Of course, but I'll be vindicated. I know.
We'll see how that goes.
I know what happened.
You know what happened?
Yes.
What happened?
I'm not ready to say it here because it is before a committee.
So let's talk about some of the things that we have heard at the committee hearing. You have admitted that your voice was on the tape.
I will be happy if you drop what is going on before the committee, because it's a parliamentary select committee which was initiated by the Speaker of Parliament. And I don't want to do anything that will
preempt the sitting. No, we're not going to preempt the sitting.
Let's drop that and then go to other things.
What I want to clarify is based on my previous question. About allegedly you being on that tape. Now, what I want to know is you have admitted that meeting happened. You have admitted that part of those tape that we have heard is you.
Yes, of course.
Why did that?
There were truths.
There were truths.
None of the things in the tape was a lie.
Okay.
All what I said the truth. And I'll say it again anywhere. But I'm not ready to discuss it here, as I said. Because it's before a committee.
Right.
And I hope you wait when the committee finishes their work and comes out with their report.
Right.
Then everybody will know the truth.
Indeed. So, again, I'll just come back to, what we've heard so far from the committee hearing real quick. At the hearing, we hear you, again, talk about how poorly you think the current IGP is running and managing the police service. First, I'd like you to elaborate on that. But I'll also ask you, if you have worked under the IGP for the last few years, maybe several even, and you have kept all of these things still while you're in the service, it's easy for someone to conclude that you were embittered against the man.
That is somebody's conclusion. But you know why I will not elaborate? Because I was asked the same question at the committee, and I told them that I will do that in camera. So I cannot come and do that here. You understand?
Well, this was some almost 3 months ago, that sit-down interview with COP Alex Mensah. For him, he says that he's going to be vindicated and that...
And he's always been very consistent.
Very consistent. And he's also said that the things that were said in that leaked tape are true. Although he says some editing has occurred, maybe he means that it's been maybe truncated or cut in parts.
So his feeling towards the IGP is not been doctored. The only doctored thing is his voice.
Even the voice,
that's
I
the
don't
sum
even
of all
believe.
I got from him.
I don't even. He said his voice is on the tape, but I
Yes.
think he's saying that maybe some portions were cut
Yeah,
and joined
paste.
together.
Yes,
Yes,
that is true.
Yes.
That's what he said. That's
Yes.
what I mean when I said that his real feeling towards the IGP is real. Is what we saw demonstrated before the committee. But he insists that though he feels bitter is my word because he keeps running away from that.
Right.
So though he feels bitter about the IGP, some of the utterances that were attributed to him, according to him, were doctored or misrepresented.
Right.
I don't know which word to use. That's how confusing he came across from the committee hearing. And Helen, the other concern from all of this is the play of partisanship, the manifestation of partisanship. I mean, we sat here from the beginning of the work of the committee to lament how the committee was coming across as divided along NDC NPP lines over such a critical national security matter. You see, and this is not the first time. There was this, if you recall, 7th January in Parliament, the midnight of 7th January, election of then Honorable Alban Bagbin as Speaker when he came head to head with the then Right Honorable Michael Quay. You recall that at a point, there was an invasion of the military into the chamber of the House of Parliament.
That's right.
And that, Helen, was coup. But because of how sharply divided we are as a people along the NDC NPP lines, that incident was never investigated. You cannot have military soldiers, armed soldiers, without invitation, walking into the chamber of Parliament when there is full parliamentary business ongoing. You cannot have that. The dangerous thing about that night was that there was no president. There was no speaker. So if the leader of that company had just gone to sit on the seat and said, hey, all of you lie down, that would have been the end of it.
Right.
By now would have been under military rule. But because of NDC NPP, nobody, that matter died a natural death, as we
Very
often
quickly
would say.
also.
Quickly. The National Security Minister was there that night. There was no Minister for Defense. And I mean, that's a very tricky one.
Right.
Because there was no government at the time.
Because questions were being asked, who deployed said military
Deployed?
men
Those were
there?
questions we never found answers to. Till date, we don't have the answers. Maybe the answers have been found, but for security reasons, they have been
kept away from us.
You know. But that was a very dangerous thing that happened. Till date, we don't have answers.
That's right.
Again, we have seen an attack, a direct attack on not the person of an IGP, but the office of the IGP. And again, we are seeing NDC NPP come to play, and no clear report is coming. For how long have we asked for this report? I suspect that this report that is being described as leak and not authentic, and as I keep forgetting the words that the chairman of the committee used to describe the report. Till date, we have not seen that, and I was saying that I suspect that this was done by some other interested party just to quicken the process, push them to the wall so that they have no other way out but to release the report. But from the way things are going, we may not see the report, because the way the chairman is so aggressively speaking against this leak report, and I agree with him in principle,
Right.
that, I mean, for such sensitive reports, we should not leave it to leaks. That it should not be some overzealous clerk or committee member or politician or secretary or some mischievous or somebody who simply believes in freedom of information. The information must be
The people
available
must
to
know.
all. The people must know. Maybe the person, that's just the person's philosophy, the person's creed. I mean, the WikiLeaks, it's on that principle that
That's
the
right.
people must know.
Yes.
Maybe it's just somebody who believes that the people must know.
Isn't it becoming one too many Sixtus? Because every now and then we are hearing one leaked tape, one leaked document, even from the Jubilee House.
Yes.
And I think we should be concerned about this. True, we are trying to get information, but at what expense? Because we've seen stuff from the presidency that should have been secret, that should not be in the public domain, come out because of this whole leak agenda to leak things. And
Michael, for example, what document can you cite that comes top of mind that we should not have seen that we have seen?
I mean, I may have to go a bit deeper to
Because
get one,
so far, everything that we have seen, I believe we should have seen.
No. I get the point
But
he's
I
making.
mean,
You see,
some security documentation for
reports-
sure, but
yes,
yes.
There are reports that come out that were not meant to come out.
Does anyone come to the top of mind?
And I'm really struggling to. But there are some reports that we have seen that, I mean...
Because if they were detrimental
official
enough, gentlemen, I think that it would be top of mind. You see what I'm trying to say?
The Frimpong Boateng report. Did it come out as an official report? No, it was leaked.
But I guess the byproduct of that was a hastening in the steps of officialdom.
Exactly
So,
the point.
Yes.
That, you see...
So is that then not beneficial to us that leak happened?
It is.
Yes.
But the point Michael is making is that there's also a consequence to that. That by the time we realize there's the how many soldiers guard the president, for instance,
Then
such information will come
be
out,
out.
which is not
Okay.
supposed to come out.
Right.
You get it. So yes, it's good. And that's why I say I agree with the chairman of the committee in principle.
Right.
It is good that we should not be leaking information. But if officialdom is sitting on the information,
Yes.
how many months has it been? And we're promised some weeks. We're promised that this thing will be wrapped up and report given in weeks.
And why
been how many
why
months?
can it not be done in weeks? What is stalling the process? Because some of the allegations that were made, especially by COP Alex Mensah, were no small allegations that the IGP is engaged in all manner of corruption and that there was some sort of
And that the IGP has a secret unit.
that does
he's
his bidding.
using
He talked
to-
about
yes.
some boots contracts between the IGP and Bugri Nabu, and these are no small allegations. So that for COP Alex Mensah to say, "Oh, I'll be vindicated," disregard the report, it is going
So
about life
confidently.
confidently going about life, freely campaigning. You've got Honorable Joe Osei-Owusu campaigning on his behalf. I mean, what kind of signal or message are we sending to the people?
Exactly my point about the division that partisan politics is causing. And see, it's not the Honorable First Deputy Speaker, but for partisan reasons, would not have done that.
Right.
I mean, this a respected lawyer. If you know him, he's very well respected in the profession, very well experienced in the profession, very well experienced as a lawmaker, very well experienced as a deputy speaker. In fact, I think he's been deputy speaker for 8 years. He was deputy speaker under Okoye. In fact, he was deputy speaker together with Bagwing, the Right Honorable Bagwing.
That's right.
And the Right Honorable Bagwing rose to become substantive speaker, and he remains the first deputy speaker.
That's right.
And first deputy speaker, the position of the first deputy speaker is not a main position. You must be somebody who understands the rudiments of the game, the parliamentary practice, the rules of engagement, the standing orders. It's no mean position. So if you go to parliament during the election of the speaker, when the speaker is elected from one caucus, the election of the first deputy speaker becomes the key issue. Because that first deputy speaker must be one who understands and one who can kind of check the balance.
Right.
So I don't think that for partisan reasons, but for partisan reasons, would have seen the first deputy speaker speaking about this matter the way he spoke about it.
In fact, let's listen to him one more time, and then we'll come back to this discussion.
I don't know if you can recall, but Just recently, the IGP set a trap for him by making Bugri Nabu call and record their conversation. When a committee was set up at Parliament and he came to sit, a member of the committee, who is a former policeman and was the IGP secretary, who went to stand as an NDC candidate when he left the service, asked the COP why he hasn't left the police service but is contesting as an NPP candidate. Then the COP asked him, would the NDC have let you contest if you weren't an NDC member?
Well, quite interesting there as well, because when COP Mensah was asked if he was or is a member of the NPP, this is what he had to say.
COP Mensah, when you were Assistant Superintendent of Police, the current IGP Dampare was a sergeant. Is that correct?
That is true.
And you became Assistant Commissioner during the time of President Kufuor. Is that correct?
That is true, Mr. Chairman.
And the 8 years that the NDC was in office, you were never promoted. Is that correct?
That is true, Mr. Chairman.
Nanado came and made you a commissioner. Is that correct?
That is true, Mr. Chairman.
And so when you make a statement like this, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, and so when you stated, as was captured in the audio, mid-year, I have been MPP member since long time, before I even joined the service. And now we need, because if you don't break the 8, that's my only objective. Anybody I meet, I tell them, we need this man. He can't help. You became an MPP member since you have been an MPP member long time before you joined the service. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, my family has been with the UP tradition ever since I was born, and it's remained there till now.
So, as you speak, are you a card-bearing member of the MPP? Wait, why not?
Mr. Chairman,
I think you've answered it in a way that you are not a card member. No.
Come on. This can lead to problems for this man. Come on.
Okay, let's. He's leading into temptation now. No, it's a bad. What is the meaning of this?
Chairman, with the greatest of respect,
yes.
I don't think this question ought to be admitted.
I was just going to tell him. I was going to tell him that this is not fair.
It is very dangerous for the force.
Cancel.
Very dangerous.
Cancel.
He may have ambitions later in life, and you want him.
Yes.
But make some admissions.
Oh.
Chairman.
Okay.
Just a second. Honorable Chairman, the Honorable Patrick Boama has usurped your power and gone a step further by overruling you. Chairman, I think we need to call the Honorable Patrick Boama to order.
I think I'm trying to, do what is honorable, that is too far-reaching. That whilst he's a commissioner, he's a card-bearing member. But what I can glean from what he's saying, that he's a blood-carrying member of the UP tradition. That's what he said. Yes. So please, do not answer this one. I crave your indulgence. It's too far-reaching. Yes.
I asked this innocuous question based on a statement that is captured here as having been made by the witness, especially when he indicated that I have been MPP member since long time before I even joined the service. And so
with the greatest of respect, the witness was a chief inspector the 1st of January 1992. The MPP was formed in August 1992. So he couldn't have been a party member long before. Yeah, so
you know, what is it that would you want to ask him whether he has MPP sympathies? Oh, my brother. Okay, please answer as he comes so that it shouldn't be seen as if I'm gagging my colleague here.
Mr. Chairman,
okay, go ahead.
Chairman,
go ahead. Yeah.
I think he answered the first leg of the question by alluding to the fact that his entire family are members of the UP tradition since time immemorial. You understand? And then I asked a specific question relative to his membership with the MPP, just because of the statement here. Unless you are telling me that the statement here is not factual.
You can be a member of MPP without being a card-bearing member of MPP. There's a difference. So that is a slight difference.
So I wanted the witness, a lawyer, an experienced police officer.
No, it has consequences for him. You see, I mean, the chair to protect the witness as well, because it has serious consequences for him, and you know. So please, you can ask another question, because this is fairly serious. Because when you say is a card-bearing member of the, then that is serious. Yes, you want to say he's a political activist in the police service? That is serious. No. He has more questions. I know him. Please proceed. Let a member of the committee proceed with further questions.
Mr. Chairman, I thank you very much. But I also entreat you, with all respect, we all like the way you are chairing this committee. Very fair to all of us. And therefore, I will entreat that when I pose harmless questions, the witness should be allowed to answer those questions. Otherwise, it will appear that you don't want us to ask all the, critical questions. Let me proceed.
Yes, you have the liberty to ask questions.
Yes.
And he's been giving you some hints now. That some... No, you listen. If you listen to him, he said, I won't answer this question. The right to remain silent. And so where he wants to answer, let him answer. But you see, this particular one, with the greatest of respect, it has far-reaching consequences. And bear in mind, they have to settle his monies and the rest of it, So what he says here could be a weapon. He's going to retire with benefits. But if they should challenge him, that look, this guy's, it could be something else, I crave your indulgence. But I will never gag a member of this committee from asking questions. So please, you can proceed.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. There is also a statement here.
All right, so that was a short clip there from the Parliament Committee's probe into the leaked IGP tape. And you saw the dynamics between the chair of the committee, Honorable Samuel Atachian, and some of the other members on the committee when that question was posed to COP Alex Mensah, who had indicated in that leaked audio that he has been a member of the NPP for a long time, as well as his family members. And the question was posed, are you a member, are you a sympathizer? And we saw the back and forth that was going on as far as the probe was concerned.
That back and forth is what makes my point about partisanship for me.
Right.
You see, the Honorable Atachian, okay, he's a senior lawyer, very senior lawyer.
That's right.
If we're in Nigeria, he would have been called senior advocate of the court of something. That's a whole rank in Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah, in the Nigerian bar. So he's respected.
Right.
He runs FM. Okay. Now, he's chairing the committee on behalf of the people of Ghana. So, in that capacity, he is supposed to be advocating and pushing the interests of the people of Ghana. The COP appeared before the committee with a lawyer.
Correct.
The lawyer is supposed to be advocating the interests of the COP.
Correct.
Good. Now, we saw the lawyer very quiet. On this particular matter, if I were the lawyer for the COP, I would have been doing what the Honorable Atachian was doing.
Right.
Because that was purely, clearly, simply, and squarely within the rights of the lawyer or privileges of the lawyer as representative of the COP.
Would you describe what Atachian was, what was doing as giving advice?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the point I'm making.
Okay.
The COP paid a lawyer to come and represent his interests before the committee. He came and the Honorable Atachian gave advice or was advising free of charge. I only hope that the Honorable Atachian would have given an invoice to the COP's lawyer after.
Because he was adamant. He said, don't respond to this. Don't
Yes.
answer this. These are the repercussions.
And he did it so nicely. I mean, lawyers and students of the law will learn from this, that he advocated so nicely for the COP, so well that he succeeded in persuading members of the committee that he chaired to stay away from the question, not because he was so forceful and he did it so his persuasion skill was so well exhibited.
But was it subtle though? It wasn't subtle.
It was in our
subtle.
faces.
It was in our faces, and if you're watching it, like I was here behind the screen, you can tell that there are members on the committee who are not particularly comfortable because the gentleman is there, the lawyer
Yes,
is there,
yes.
the question has been posed. The lawyer can
whose
say, "Don't
interest
answer."
was the chairman representing at that point?
Exactly.
We watch committee hearings of the U.S. Their legislative assemblies. We watch these, and these are deadly hearings, for lack of a better expression. A secretary is summoned before a committee, or an office holder is summoned before a committee, and it's a big deal. You watch the UK Parliament proceedings, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
The chairman of the committee represents the interest of the people.
That's right.
And cannot be seen to be advocating for the interest of the person appearing before the committee.
Absolutely, because if COP Alex Mensah makes damning statements that then have consequences on his on his career, on his retirement benefits, what has that got to do with the people
us?
of Ghana?
Exactly.
In
Because
fact, it's in the interest of the people not to have party people wearing uniform. So, as a representative of the people on the committee, your position should be bringing to light whether indeed this person is a card-bearing member of a political party in uniform, so that the people would take such a person out of office.
it's not up to you to shield that
To
information
shield that
from the people.
information.
I have
So
a
he was
question, though.
right in his analysis when he said that the question had far-reaching consequences.
Yes.
And so it was the place of the lawyer of the COP to persuade the committee away from the question.
So that everything
not the
that
chairman of the
the
committee.
chair of the committee was doing, we should have been hearing that from the lawyer
From
of
the lawyer
COP
of the committee.
Mensah.
Exactly.
Right.
And that is where the partisan politics come to play.
So I have a question though. So what is the requirement to contest as a member of parliament according to the rule book of the NPP? Because just last year when he was at the committee, he made us understand that he is a sympathizer and not a card-bearing member. Few months down the lane, he's contesting in the name of the party. What really does the constitution of the NPP say with regards
So that
to that?
kind of mere sympathizer take
Suddenly-
up that mantle.
suddenly become-
I think we can't begrudge
Because-
anybody the opinion that COP Mensah is an NPP, possibly card-bearing member. You can't begrudge me of that
Fair
opinion.
point. But then, if before the committee he stated that he was a sympathizer, even though he was actually a card-bearing member, Sixtus, isn't that the
That's
same as
perjury.
perjury?
Absolutely.
That's perjury.
We've said that
But
many
you see,
times on this platform.
To become a member of parliament, you only need to be of a certain age and of sound mind. We have never been able to determine what that sound mind means. Somebody made this statement and ended up before the Privileges Committee of Parliament.
Right.
That's a very tricky one.
Yeah.
But then the political parties themselves have gone ahead to design certain rules of engagement for themselves. Of course, there are other laws that have to do with how you enter into parliament as a representative of the people. And the Gyakye Quayson case you mentioned earlier is the probably the foundation case for this particular agreement, where you would find that you should probably not have been a dual citizen. And this is found in other laws.
That's right.
You should have, if you were a dual citizen, you should have renounced your citizenship at what point before the filing of nomination? Is it the picking up the form, the filing of the nomination, or the point at which the EC declares you a member, declares you fit enough to contest as a member of parliament for the particular constituency? So all these are discussions. But I think the point Michael is raising has to do with the rules of engagement as designed by the political parties themselves. I mean, if I want to be a member of parliament for the good people of Ulo on the ticket of the CPP,
right,
I would have to have been a member of the CPP for a particular period of time.
Right.
I would have to have paid up my dues up to a particular period of time. I know that there's also the tax clearance that you would have to go through, but there's also a national rule before you enter into public office. That rule has to also be satisfied.
Right.
So if I appeared before such a committee as this, and I told the committee, I denied the CPP in front of the committee, and then I went back to the CPP to tell the CPP that, guys, forget all the things I said before the committee. You know how our politics work. I just had to protect myself. And so I'm back now. I want to contest on your ticket for the people of Ulo. Now, what the CPP will look at is, am I the only one who can win that seat for the CPP?
Right.
The question is yes, because I'm the strongest CPP member in the constituency. I have clout in the constituency. I am very visible in the constituency. It's not difficult to market me in the constituency because they already know me, they know my family. If they enter any house in the constituency and mention my father's name, it's a goner. I'm already there.
Right.
Are these facts, or you are just creating an example just to be sure?
Well, however.
It's very, very vivid, isn't it? This example.
Oh.
Yes, but it's just an example.
Oh, but it's no secret that I'm a member of the CPP.
Are you campaigning already?
You are not a sympathizer. Are you a card-bearing member?
Oh, it's no secret
It's
that
no secret.
I'm a member
Yes.
of the CPP. We are struggling, but we still have membership.
Don't worry,
And I
we'll give
know
you
that
guys
all
some
of you
time
will
to
be-
unravel your issues for us. We want to know what is going on with you guys. Michael, what do you have for us?
So I just went online to find the constitution of the NPP.
Perfect.
And it says selection of parliamentary candidate. So no member shall be nominated or endorsed as the party's candidate in any parliamentary election unless the member has been selected in accordance with the provisions of this article.
Okay.
2A. The selection of parliamentary candidates shall be advertised. Okay, I think we can skip that.
Sure.
Then
No, you read all
I should
of
read
it.
everything.
It
Okay.
makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
So the selection of a parliamentary candidate shall be advertised for 18 months prior to the date of the national elections, provided that it shall be advertised for 1 month in the constituency. Parliamentary candidates shall be elected at least 12 months before the national general election. For the avoidance of doubt, the National Executive Committee shall have the power to determine separate dates for elections in constituencies where the party has sitting member of parliament. C. A member applying for nomination as the party's parliamentary candidate should be a known and active member for at least 2 years, provided that...
Note that.
Yeah. So I read that again. C. A member applying for nomination as the party's parliamentary candidate should be a known and active member for at least 2 years, provided that in appropriate cases, the National Executive Committee, in consultation with the regional and constituency executives, may dispense with the requirement.
So you must be an active member, not just a member, an active member.
Active member.
Active means you are paid up, you are engaged in the activities of the party within the particular constituency.
Yeah.
You are like all the examples that I gave. That is
Right.
what active means.
Sure.
And known.
And known.
Yeah.
So I can't just be in my corner somewhere
Sympathizing
quietly and wake up one day, elections are coming, then I go and pick up nomination form that I want to be a parliamentary candidate on the party's ticket. It doesn't work like that. So for at least 2 years, the caveat there is that the executives can dispense of that rule. And this is given just so that when the party finds itself in a tight corner, then they can find a way out, even though, of course, this has been open to abuse in the case of both political parties, or let me even say, I can safely say all the political parties. You get it? But what it means that in the case of the COP Mensah, he could not have picked up the nomination forms if he was not an active member for at least 2 years.
Active
That
and
means-
known.
Active and known for
That
at least
means-
2 years.
Yes, that means that whilst he was COP, he had a party card.
That's right.
He was paying dues. He was engaged in party activities.
Actively.
He was very well known for his association, affiliation, membership, whichever word you like, choose,
Right.
of the party. So it's not possible that the COP just woke up one day and went to contest. So that question that was asked was a legitimate question, an important question, a question that the people had an interest in.
Definitely.
A question that the chairman should have allowed the candidate to answer. A question that the lawyer of COP should have pushed against and persuaded the committee away from.
Right.
Not the chairman of
Not
the committee.
the chair. Because as he mentioned, the consequences are far reaching. And
Yes.
he rightly mentioned that because he knows. But is he then looking through the party lenses or through the lens of the people? And can you begrudge anybody the opinion that that display just that we had was one that was coming through a party lens? You can't begrudge me
You can't
of that
begrudge
opinion.
anybody.
No.
You can't.
Because he was adamant that that question be skipped, that question not be asked. He mentioned the retirement bonuses and everything in jeopardy for the people. Me as a citizen, that's got
he was
nothing
right.
to do with
He was right. The Honorable Atachian was right. He got it right. The analysis, everything was on point.
But it was not in his
except
place.
that he was on the wrong side.
That was not his place
That
to
was
do
not
so.
his place. He should have been on the side of the people. That is to say, he should have been on the side of the committee. He should have been pushing for the COP to answer the question. And the lawyer of the COP should have the one actively advocating against the question. That is what the arrangement should have been. That is how the coin should have been flipped.
What questions then do we ask of the NPP as far as COP Alex Mensah's bid to be MP is concerned? He's picked up his forms. He's campaigning heavily. You've got Honorable Joe Osei Owusu actually advocating for him, telling us to disregard this whole plot and it was a setup. When somebody came before the people and says, "Oh, I'm not a member, I'm a sympathizer, the waters are muddy," what questions are we asking of the party itself this morning, having listened to that?
Well, I think that there are several legs that we actually have to look at.
Sure.
First one is the issue that is he a card-bearing member? Before the committee, he said no. So already we are dealing with an issue of perjury.
Correct.
Then number two, if indeed he's
Which I expect to see in the report.
Absolutely.
Number two, if he indeed is a card-bearing member and yet claim he wasn't, what are the consequences for a service person to be found in such a situation?
Right.
Does that mean as we speak somebody can take him to court for being in violation of the service protocols? That's one question. The other question too is we see the caveat there where the national committee can sit according to the constitution of the NPP and waive the requirements to contest as a member of parliament in under certain circumstances, like we saw in the constitution that you explained. So if that was done in this case, which is the only lifeline apparently
Would you
available,
want to know what the caveat was? Should the people be given that information?
okay. So,
but I'm saying that it's in there. But
Yeah.
would you want to know
Yes,
from
whether-
the NPP
whether he
whether
was-
that
whether
caveat
he
was
benefited
applied?
from that
Yes.
caveat. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
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 So was that done?
Yes.
What was the process? Why isn't it in the public domain? Because I'm sure at least it will be communicated to the party members.
Yes.
But we haven't heard anything of that sort. So then, on what basis is he attempting to represent the party if all these haven't been checked?
Absolutely. Questions that
So
need
at
answers.
this point, it will go back to the earlier point I make that the consideration of the party would primarily be, is he the best person to win the seat for us? As for the party, that is their interest too. As for a
Absolutely.
political party, their interest is whether or not you can win the seat. That's all they are interested in. If you can win the seat, now the next question will be, are there any baggages that we need to clear? So the party will now set its machinery to begin dressing you up so that by the time they are done with you, Helen, your fair skin will become fairer.
Let's see whether this is a dressing up enough. We've listened to it twice already, but one more time on head.
I don't know if you can recall, but just recently the IGP set a trap for him by making Bugri Nabu call and record their conversation when a committee was set up at Parliament and he came to sit. A member of the committee, who is a former policeman and was the IGP secretary who went to stand as an NDC candidate when he left the service, asked the COP why he hasn't left the police service but is contesting as an NPP candidate. Then the COP asked him, would the NDC have let you contest if you weren't an NDC member?
Wow, what a morning it has been so far.
And you ask whether this is dressing up enough.
Is that
You
a
have-
dressing up enough?
You have a whole Deputy Speaker of Parliament leading the charge. You have a very well respected member of Parliament telling you that this is the man for the job. Forget all that you saw on TV. And he's speaking in Twi.
That's right.
That's significant. He's not speaking English. He's addressing the people directly. And he tells you that all that you saw on TV was a trap. He was set up. I mean, my sincere apologies to the Deputy Speaker if I got it wrong. You all know that my Twi is not correct.
I
It's
mean,
suspect.
we translated
so I
it
am
into
listening
English.
to the translation.
Yes, and-
not the Twi.
Okay.
Not the primary language that is. So if I got it wrong,
You
my
haven't.
sincere apologies.
You haven't.
He says that the IGP set a trap for the COP. That's what he's telling the people.
Pedri again?
I don't even know. The point is that whether the IGP set a trap for the man or not, it's for the committee to determine.
That's right.
We have still not seen the committee report. If the words of the chairman of the committee are anything to go by, we have to disregard what we are seeing or what we are hearing about.
Well, unless then maybe Honorable Joe Osei has seen the one that we haven't seen. So he's
Okay.
now, I mean, the legs of this conversation, they keep on growing. We have to make way, though, for the sports
And then before
news.
we go, quick one.
All right.
So I just saw a comment from Alberta Desks. Says he's enjoying the show from Ashaiman. I just thought I should read
Shout
that.
out to Ashaiman. Shout out to Ashaiman. And keep listening to us. A lot more to come right here on 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Michael and I were going to break down inflation this morning, but other matters do arise. But we'll talk some money matters, of course, when we return. There's a long list of items for you and I to sink our teeth into. But Kelvin is here and we're going to be talking sports. Kelvin, good morning to you.
Good morning, dear.
Why? What did you eat yesterday? I was stressed.
It could have been you.
Ah!